It's your destiny to greatness with Dr. C and Brothers Keeper. Today, where we've been, where we're going, and Friday trivia. And now, here are Dr. C and Brothers Keeper.
Welcome everyone to your destiny to greatness. Dr. C here again with
Brothers Keeper, and I'm very excited to be here today.
Well, good. You've definitely already helped to make my day. So we're praying that we can do the same for you. Today, we're talking about a subject that probably hits many of you who are watching, and that is, they said I wouldn't make it. Brothers Keeper, I've had that said about me. I don't even know if the people believed it when they said it, but just the same, it came at a time where I thought deeply about not making it.
And it's funny how, if I could piggyback on what you just said, Dr. C, that the enemy is always looking and is aware of those times, whatever cues that we are giving out, to let them see that we might have a little bit of self-doubt, and that's when they'll try to pounce on us.
Yes. And I don't care where you are in life, there are certain things that at some times you feel a little bit insecure about, especially when someone puts some doubt out there, where you can't or you're not good enough. Doesn't matter what you have on the inside, it makes you think for a bit.
You're exactly right, because I've had several occasions where, like at work, someone would tell me to do something, and because you've always generated a little bit of self-doubt when they tell you to do it, you become a little upset thinking that you can't do it. Then after a while, I started to empower myself in the mind. And if I give myself a chance, I think about it, and when they see me again, whatever they had for me to do, which they thought I wasn't going to be able to do, I'd walk by in confidence, and when they look, it was done. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. It's sometimes all in how we think about it.
It is. Well, you mentioned the mind, and that is one of the most powerful things that we have is the mind, and it's important that we protect our mind because there's always something coming up against us to make us think that we can't make it.
And actually, a lot of times, they'll have us to think we can't make it because if they see that we're starting to succeed, then it causes them to have some self-doubt about what they're doing. So in order to keep themselves feeling boastful and about themselves, they have to tear that person down. That's an example of someone moving up.
Yes, well, keep themselves feeling good about themselves, and also to keep people down and under their thumbs, so to speak, so that they won't rise and reach their full potential. That's what we're talking about. This subject, they said I wouldn't make it. And we want to, by the time we end up with this short segment, is to encourage you that and let you know that you can make it. And hopefully you'll be able to encourage somebody else, no matter what the obstacle or the odds. Sounds good?
Yes.
All right. We'll be back in just a little bit. Brothers Keeper.
Yes.
I was thinking in reference to they said I wouldn't make it. You alluded to a reason why some people would say that we couldn't make it. And you were saying sometimes it's because they want to continue to feel good about themselves, and there's some fear that someone else can do something just as good as or better than them. They're a little bit insecure.
And with that insecurity, they'll use that to mask how they really feel. More than likely, on some level, they probably admire what they see is going on, but their pride is not going to let them tell you, as you say, because then that'll shine the light back on them, and they have some erroneous thinking about well, maybe I'm not doing what I should be doing. And in reality, they might be right where they need to be at that time. And they might need that person they were watching to propel them to the next level.
Right.
But our human nature, sometimes we don't see it that way.
Well, it seems that we agree that there's always a they that's saying something negative or to attack us, attack our character, or the things that to stunt our growth. But I want to focus on us because that's most important. It's kind of like when you have your shield and and while in battle and you're able to block those darts that are coming your way. Even in the spiritual realm, we have that shield to help us, and we have that breastplate on. So we need to begin to get to a point in life where we are determined to do whatever it is that God has us to do.
No matter what comes. To have that fortitude to press with, as you say, with your gear on.
Yes.
And just to press forward no matter what comes our way. And understanding that if we're on the road of prudence, those enemies, they're going to pop up here and there, and they're going to have little stumbling blocks here and there.
Right.
But we have to have the mindset to understand that comes with the territory, and we have to navigate through it. And as long as we seeking guidance and assistance from God, we'll be able to make it.
Yes, and we need to get to that point where we have some confidence in ourselves and have confidence in the God who made us. Because anything worth having is worth working for, but it's not easy.
No.
That road to get there is not easy. And sometimes we will have that doubt. Well, maybe this isn't what I was supposed to do. But that's not necessarily so. Sometimes when we have those stumbling blocks that come in our way and those obstacles, they're there to help us get stronger and to prep us for our journey and for our destiny.
And it's a reason why when you're on that road, there's not many people on that road with you. Because if it was easy, everyone would be trying to aspire to be on that road. But because sometimes it's easier to do the things that we shouldn't do, they'll take the path of less resistance.
Right. Well, we have to put the work in as well. And then we have to learn how to look at people for who they are and realize that whether it was when we were kids, middle age and older, some people don't change. They don't. And the thing of it is, the enemy, he doesn't change. And he works through people. And he is bound to try to deter us and to hurt us and to crush us. But the thing of it is, we can make it if we have the strength of the Lord Jesus. And that takes me to Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So we have all of this. That we can make it, we can do it. Doesn't matter what they said, but God said we can. But if we follow those things.
If we're following Christ, first of all, when Christ left, he left us with a comforter.
Yes.
So if we have a comforter, so no matter what we encounter in the battle, what may have us shaken for a moment, we're comforted. As you say, he told us, wait until we're endued, then go. So now we're endued, we have to go.
We have to.
Because why be endued with power and strength and you don't move?
So many of us are empowered with strength and with the ability to do things, but during those times when that self-doubt comes in, someone looks at us the way we are not expecting them to look at us, and we doubt, well, maybe I don't look as good. Maybe I'm not the one that's supposed to. But let us look to Jesus. I can't say that enough, to be able to get that strength, and you'll be able to hold your head up as you're walking through the fire.
It's funny, Dr. C, that you mentioned. I had a situation a few days ago, and some self-doubt arose. And I prayed about it, and the Lord dropped in my spirit that it's high time for me to stop worrying about what others think. It's about what He thinks, and what, as you say, I'm empowered to do, and what I think about it. Because if I have no confidence in myself, how would they ever see confidence?
Right, exactly.
It starts with me.
Wow. And that's so powerful, because many times, even each and every day, we will come up upon some resistance. Sometimes it's not necessarily of what someone says verbally, but it's the things that they do. You may have applied for a particular job, and it just seems like your number is never the number to get called. Do you have what it takes to do the job? Yeah, probably so. But they're pulling after others that seem to fit into that particular mold. And if you're outspoken, or if you're smart, if you're pretty, if you have confidence in yourself, a lot of times that's not what they're looking for. It doesn't matter that you are qualified for that position.
Yes, because they feel intimidated. And actually, if you're trying to get a position, it's just me thinking again.
Go ahead.
I don't want someone beneath me aspiring or aiming to get my job, because I know if he's trying to get my job, more than likely he and I, or she and I, will be on the same page.
Yes, and that person is really going to work hard work hard at that particular task. Well, such is in the house of the Lord, in the body of Christ. There are many who can do certain things. They have certain gifts, but sometimes they're being stunted because whoever is in charge, which they shouldn't be going over God, they don't want to put anyone there that they're not in control of.
Yes, you're exactly right. And not understanding that if you put that person there and they can operate in their God-given gift, they'll be accenting what you're trying to do, and not necessarily trying to control what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll come along,
Yes.
they'll be that piece that you need to take you to the next level.
Exactly. And those are the things that we have to keep in mind, but not to get discouraged. Because one thing I know, and I believe, that God, He sees all and He knows all. He knows where we're at. And sometimes He allows certain things to happen so that He can mold us the way He wants us to be molded. We may need that patience, and going through that situation, that storm, that test, that trial is what's going to help us to have that patience and to be that vessel that He would want us to be.
And then when the opportunity does present itself, you'll be mind, body, and soul a better fit
yes, even the
for
more.
that situation.
Definitely.
Than you would have been before you were tested and tried.
Right. And if we go through this thing the right way, we will be humble like Christ. We will take on more and more of His characteristics. So when we get there, we will be there to do a perfect job for Him, whether it's in the natural or in the spiritual realm. We'll be able to allow Christ to shine through us.
You're exactly right. If I may give you an example of that.
Go ahead.
I was at work one day, and they give like awards for outstanding things you do. And it was told to me that, well, you know, we understand what you do too, and maybe the next time we'll give you the award.
Yeah.
I said, well, if you could understand what I do here, it's not for the recognition here. It's my integrity driving me to do what I'm supposed to do, putting little nuggets in, trying to build, pad up, and send up my timber to be able to stand at that pearly gate, and for Him to tell me, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Exactly. I love that. And that is perfect. That's a perfect example, because no matter where we're at, and if no one in the natural is looking, God is always
Oh,
looking.
yes.
And when he looks and he sees that you're doing the right thing all the time, whether the boss is there, you're on your job and you're doing the things that you need to do, it's like, oh my goodness, I can trust Pat. Even if it is in the spiritual, in church, if you are doing, you don't have to be called on or waiting for somebody to call your name, or you don't get upset if somebody doesn't call your name. God, he's looking, he was like, oh yeah, he's definitely one of mine, because that's just how Jesus was.
Yes.
He didn't boast. And many times he told people, don't even tell anybody
Yes.
what I've done for
Uh-huh.
you. We can make it.
Yeah.
We can make it because Jesus made it. And when he went through, he walked and he lived and he spoke to people such kind words, with such kind words, and got up out of that grave after that horrible death. He made the way for us to make it. They said I wouldn't make it. But Christ said otherwise.
Yes.
Brothers Keeper, this has been a joy and a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, you can make it. Stay tuned. When we come back, Brothers Keeper is going to give us a question to help us a little bit further. We'll be back.
Okay, we're back. And it's time for Friday Trivia.
Friday Trivia.
I have a question.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that now I'm able to tie the question in through biblical references and can deal with our main topic. And speaking about not being able to make it because the enemy is trying to put roadblocks up for us to not make it, because they see something destined in us. It brings me to a story. In the Bible, we're talking about Jacob. And Jacob had sons. But one son in particular, he openly showed that he loved a little more. And because he showed that love, I'm pretty sure it made the other sons a bit envious. So his name is Joseph. Joseph started to share dreams that he had with his brothers. And some of them dreams made reference that Joseph may be in control as they got older.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they were determined that that wasn't going to happen. So they plotted against him to hold him down. But going back to the beginning of the story, Jacob loved Joseph so much that he gave him a gift which probably enraged his brothers.
I'm sure.
My question today is, what is that gift that Jacob gave Joseph?
Okay. What is the gift that Jacob gave
Joseph.
All right. Good. Go ahead and get your answer in, and that will be a gift to us, just seeing your responses. Get your answers in by tonight, though. 11:59
PM.
Yes. And you can email your answers to your.destinytogreatness@gmail.com.
Have wealth in me. Have wealth in me. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break nor steal.
It's just me thinking again. You know, I often think about how the enemy will try to rise up against us, but they have no power. Just because they come in with all their tricks and their negativity, they still have no power over us. We have to remember who we are, because it's very easy for us to start thinking negative about ourselves and begin to doubt ourselves. And once we start to doubt ourselves, we start to live the way they want us to live. And that's not for us. Have a characteristic of our God. understanding that He gave us some power. We're endued to make it. So when they say we can't make it, just understand it's just a trick. They already recognize that we're already on the road to success. It's just me thinking again.
We are destined for greatness.
It's time out for playing church. Many times we get up on Sunday mornings and we go to the house of prayer just out of habit. But what I want to encourage you to do today is do not just go to church. Go to Christ. The handwriting's on the wall. He's calling for us to come to Him and to live for only Him. So, yes, continue to praise. If you clap, shout, sing, but make sure that you're doing those things out of a heart that is only for Christ. No more playing. Let's get serious about our business in Jesus as you walk towards your destiny.